Hello everybody, I am Critical Rocket and we are here with Jeffrey the referee, who says it is a go-go for round 3 of the High Elves pre-eliminations of the Tournament of the Old World. To bring the HUD back up, we have the forces of Teclis versus the forces of one Eltharion the Grim. Now Eltharion won his first round quite respectably, and this time his army consists of a Tyrannok chariot, fancy chariots there, nice big scything blades on the wheels, some bowmen on the back there. His right flank is being held by a White Lions of Trace at rank 5. Eltharion himself starting on foot. He's got his unit of Eagle Claw bolt throwers, alongside a unit of spearmen, and a unit of good old Lothan Sea Guard, probably one of the more regularly seen units here in this tournament for the Elves. He has a unit of rather elite Silvering Guard spearmen. I imagine they're going to be doing a lot of work for him on the field. He's also got a Great Eagle, and rounding out his far left flank is a unit of Illyrian Reavers, light cavalry. Across from him are the forces of Teclis, the mage. Teclis' right flank is held by a unit of White Lions of Trace, backed by his own unit of Illyrian Reavers. Moving more into the centre line is another White Lions, with a Lothan Sea Guard, as I said, a common feature of both sides, alongside a Handmaiden of the Everqueen and Teclis himself on horseback. Then, just next to them, on his left flank, we've got the War Lions, a solid unit, just good at holding up the enemy and causing a fair amount of damage. Also, they're very big, very impressive-looking creatures. His own unit of Eagle Claw bolt throwers, a very high rank, and we'll see how that plays out for him, and a unit of Illyrian Reaver archers. Teclis has less of an infantry-heavy force and more of a kind of ranged deal, but let's see how this all plays out. Both sides have an artillery piece, which means neither of them are going to be moving those artillery pieces around. Bolt throwers launching in. Oof, a lot of White Lions just got knocked over, but none of them were kills, none of them were casualties. They just dust themselves off and get moving again. Spellcast there by Teclis, the Flock of Doom. Actually scoring a few kills there. It was like 10 or so, maybe 10 Lothan Sea Guard died from that. Pecked to death by magical crows. Not the way to go for a high elf warrior, really, is it? Oof. Bolt throwers are equally targeting White Lions units on both sides. Handmaiden of the Everqueen launching in there with the Lothan Sea Guard from Teclis, as the front line will soon be joined. We've got a charge going on the right flank. The Illyrian Reavers, they did get a debuff as it was going in. Oh, and it's the Flamespire Phoenix spell. Oof. Brutal. Nasty hit there. Illyrian Reavers thinking the better of that, probably for the best. Probably don't want to stick around for that fight for too long. Teclis' own Reavers getting out of the way of the Silvering Guard, a tough, powerful spearman unit. And cavalry, unsurprisingly, don't do very well in protracted fights with that. The War Lions of Teclis have already fled. Not a good sign for the War Lions, as when they're allowed to, they can cause a lot of damage very quickly. And I don't know, I'm seeing a strong front line here from Eltharion, with only the White Lions of Teclis in the front. Meanwhile, most of his forces seem to be congregating around the Great Eagle, but not a lot of damage being done. Teclis and the Handmaiden and the Everqueen have managed to drive off the giant bird as it goes sky high, but there is a very vulnerable Eagle Claw bolt thrower over there, so we'll have to see how that works out for them. Meanwhile, the Eagle Claw is launching round after round after round into Eltharion's bolt thrower, and the Lothan Sea Guard seems to be mainly targeting them. The front line is collapsing in on itself at this point. Eltharion has stepped into the void of battle, and he is swinging for the fences as we just see him stab a Illyrian Reaver and just drop him like he's a bad habit, really. Illyrian Reaver swinging at him wildly with a spear, but it's not really going to be enough to stop him. The Handmaiden dropping a few magical arrows there on top of them, but it's not really going to do anything at this point. Teclis just didn't bring enough of a force to really constitute a solid front line, and he's not casting a lot of spells. That's the other problem. He's not doing much. He seems to be casting a spell here. We're not sure what he's casting. Some kind of buff by the looks of it. Yeah, he's trying to cast something on He cast the Flaming Sword of Ruin on the White War Lions, but that it was really, that was a waste of a spell. He should have cast it on himself, on the Handmaiden, on any unit that wasn't currently fleeing the field, which is bad. It's a poor choice there by Teclis. He could have very easily have avoided this embarrassment, of which he has. He's done this now. I'm sorry, Teclis. I'm sorry. You've let yourself down. Tyrion isn't going to be happy with this. He's going to mock you, and Tyrion's probably going to have to solve your mess, your problem that you've created now, because you couldn't bring the goods. You didn't bring the right force to fight against Eltharion. He's called Eltharion the Grim. He's not called Eltharion the Happy. You know, he's the Grim because he gets stuck in, boy. That's what he does. And even with the Handmaiden trying to back him up there, trying to get a few kills in there just to sort of prop up the stats to make it look a little less embarrassing, it's not helping. Teclis he's lost. Let's face it, folks. He's already done. We can already see the bar up here. The allied troop count is extremely low. 63 of Teclis' forces to 302 of Eltharion's. Still rocking, ready to go on the fight. There goes the bolt thrower. The Eagle Claw bolt thrower taken out by Eagle Claws. I think that's rather fitting, isn't it? And another Flamespire Phoenix spell, and oh, brutal. Now I don't know if that was an enemy cast spell or if that was Teclis casting that. It looked like it was aimed at these. Is this a Silvering Guard? Yeah, it looked like it was aimed at the Silvering Guard, but somehow just hit his own fleeing troop. So yeah, and Teclis is now being attacked by a giant bird. So that's not going well for him. He's a wizard. He's not built. He's not built for these kind of things. He needs to cast spells. Although the eagle did just punt the Silvering Guard across the field. Not the best. The Eagle Claw crew are a bit confused and have ended up into a very pokey death situation, and they are pokey death running away. And now we've also got what's left of the Handmaiden of the Everqueen basically being beaten around the head by Eltharion, the Grim there, and she's had enough. Quite rightly, she's fleeing the field. And then that's it. Jeff's called it. So yeah, not a great result there for Teclis. As we go over to the stats of this battle, so Teclis himself brought 468 troops, lost 413, almost his entire force, whereas Eltharion brought 536 and lost 230. Teclis, no, I'm not expecting Teclis to do a lot kill-wise, but it could have been better, 16. The Handmaiden, 21, not bad. The White Lions there are one of his best, but obviously the high-rank Eagle Claw, 55, pretty respectable, as Lothern got 27. The weakest unit, the losers there, were the Eltharion Reaver Archers. They didn't bring enough firepower, apparently. Now, over on the other side, though, Eltharion himself brought 28 kills to the field. But his man of the match unit was actually the Eltharion Reavers on his side. 102 of Teclis' force. That's you know, getting close to a quarter of his entire army was killed by that single unit of Eltharion Reavers, who were still roughly about half strength. So, pretty good result. The Lothern Seaguard with shields, 77. Also, effective killing group there. Backed up by the Tyrannoc Chariots, who did decent numbers. The Great Eagle was good for holding up forces, and did a fair amount of damage as well. Overall, really good result there for Eltharion as he goes into the final. So we'll see who he's going to be against pretty soon, actually. But until then, thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll catch you for the next one. Thank you for watching the pre-elimination of the Old World tournament, going into the grand tournament of the Old World, which is going to be the big one. Which High Elf leader is going to be the winner that goes forward and leads the large army, the big army, in the big fight, race versus race? It's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.